bring up a little discussion. Each welded wire physical tree protection barrier shall not exceed 5 feet in height. There was, of course, there was a split between some of our members between having 5 or 6 feet. Rationale: with additional research conducted various articles on this topic, and speaking with Great Basin Nursery and the Nature Center, some deer are tall enough to reach their necks over 5 feet in height, but the 48-inch diameter protection barrier will make it harder to do so. In addition, some of the lower leaves of the tree will get eaten, but the trees have evolved and can produce their own toxins through leaf stem to eventually deter the deer away from its leaves. And there's a source for that.
Yeah, that's true.
I wanted to tell them specifically, when the deer, do eat some of the leaves, Bev has it, there's a particular chemical that's formed, which in turn stimulates the formation of tannins, which are then incorporated in new leaves and some of the stems.
That's not in all trees
I
though.
know.
That's only
Yeah,
a few trees.
so,
The trees pass that on to each other.
yeah.
I don't know how,
So
but
it's
they-
an enzyme in the deer's saliva that when it comes in contact with the tree absorbs that enzyme and it creates a chemical reaction within the tree to deter the deer from
No,
wanting
no.
to eat
Yeah.
it.
I understand,
No.
I'm just saying
But
that.
that applies to plants too,
Well,
and shrubs.
and
No, it's
surrounding
not.
trees pick
Yeah.
that up.
No.
Okay, so, yeah, so, it produces salicylic acid,
Mhm.
and then that, of course, is what eventually stimulates tannins in the newer leaves. And also says it also increases the amount of growth hormone made to grow more leaves.
So.
I have a camellia I planted last year and the deer ate it almost to the ground and I almost dug it up and threw it away, but I left it. And this year it had like 1 million leaves and 1 billion buds and they haven't touched it. It's like, woohoo, it works.
That's because you sent them over to my place, Deb.
No, this is in Lake Oswego, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll have to truck them then. Yeah, well, so in some respect, now personally, I would be one of the ones that would put 6 feet. If you all wanna stick with 5,
I,
I like 5.
you don't wanna go to 6?
the
It's
only
always
thing
been-
about 6 is visually, I mean, so I'm average, cause I'm 5'5", and so here's my eyes, and at 5 feet, it's right at the top, but you go over 5 feet and it just becomes, but I'm good with either one, whatever you guys decide.
Well, you're
I'd stick
in
with
it.
5.
Bev wants,
I'd stick with 5.
Steve, you'd stick with 5?
I like 5.
I would if I,
Mary
yeah, if
Beth?
I could have.
It's been 5 from the beginning, it was never 4.
I know,
No.
I don't know where 4 came from.
I
That's in the
Came
beaver.
from-
People,
Oh,
Not
it reached the
confused.
beaver stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
That was always.
I
So-
think if I don't know why the board was asking the question, but if they had some kind of feedback that made them more comfortable with 6, I wouldn't have a problem with 6, so either way,
Yeah.
I just
well, the
don't-
problem that we have here is that the board has to accept it in total.
Right.
They can't amend it, like they tried to.
That's fine, I'm just saying, they came back,
Yeah,
Future discussion?
Yeah.
Not everything
or not, yeah,
Yeah.
and, I have some thoughts about that. What do you
The
think, Kurt?
board of directors says 5 feet is too short. They can send it back to us and say, revisit the height of the fencing that's
Sure.
allowed. And
but haven't they just done that by
Which is
saying,
what they
is it
did.
5 feet too short? I don't know,
Oh,
I'm
one-
asking.
No, they said 4 feet was too short.
Right,
Which wasn't,
but 4 feet isn't in the document.
I know.
and it was never in the
I
document.
think we just ought to go with 5 and see what happens.
I know.
Possibly though, Ed, go back to the original may have said 4 feet in height. I'll look that up, but that was
Mm.
long, that was prior to what you and I submitted.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think so. I
Let's
think
go with 5, see what they say.
4 feet is not high enough, for sure.
Right.
5 feet is high enough, I
It's
think,
not.
if you consider the diameter as well.
Well, plus,
I don't think 6 feet is needed, but
well, I understand that you don't want to prevent the deer from being able to browse
They send it
some.
back to have these These
I mean, I
guys
think
Right.
it's a healthy
These guys are
thing for
idiots.
for them to be able to do that. Who was,
Did Keith get that?
Jackie, do you remember differently from the board whether they thought the 5 feet was too short? I don't remember that.
No,
calls.
I don't
Okay.
remember any comments that Scott Gillies made at our meeting with you guys relative specifically to that.
I said it's too short.
So Scott, are you still with us? Just out of curiosity, to make sure we are hearing the direction from the board specifically, was that a challenge with the board that they wanted it to, that they thought 5 feet was too short?
Yes.
No, it was, I think there was some confusion on the board that it was 4 feet. And so that was a discussion and the board just said, look at it, should it be 5 feet? So I think that's kind of where it was. It's for you guys to decide, but I think there was a confusion that they thought it was 4 feet.
okay, well, that's, all right. So then we're gonna leave it at 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
Before we move on.
Can I make one more, just little quick point on this specific
Sure.
item?
yes.
Which is, we are part of a wildlife, whatever I wrote in my thing,
Urban interface?
that, yeah, thank you. And that we are supposed to allow deer and wildlife to live and eat and move through our property. And that's another issue with trying to block all these plants off or hot wiring our entire lots, is we're in defiance of, that thing that we have said we will uphold. So, that's it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, yes. So,
Go ahead.
do we want something in here that says that the barrier must be grounded? That it must start at ground level and not be elevated?
That's a good
Well,
point.
Cause I mean, I certainly see some that start, there's, 6
If
to
you-
12 inch gap.
If you just say,